The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the 11th episode of the SCU show. I'm your host, SCU, as always. And before I even get to beginning on what's going to be one of the best episodes we've done so far, I want to thank you for listening. Whether you're listening on iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, Google Play, W2Net.com, wherever it may be, thank you for listening. And you're in for a fun one tonight. So we gotta go. We just gotta keep going here. Start off. Paul George is interested in playing with the Lakers not next season, the season after next season. And what that means is he's going to play with the Indiana Pacers in 2017, 2018, as of right now. And there's a little breaking story on that I heard earlier today. We'll get to that later. He's going to play with the Pacers in 2017-18, and then he's not going back. He is not going to re-sign with the team next offseason, none of that. He's going to play elsewhere. And his big interest, as everybody should know at this point, is with the Lakers. He wants to play with the Lakers. And that's huge. Why is that huge? Why is Paul George wanting to play in Los Angeles huge? Because it might not just be Paul George. The Lakers, if let's say Paul George wanted to sign with the Lakers, like he wants to. He wants to sign with the Lakers. That is a stepping stone right there for a huge, and I mean to think this is so huge, an absolute huge leap for the Lakers in 2018. Huge leap for the Lakers if they sign Paul George. Right now, the Lakers are bottom of the barrel team. Bottom of the barrel team right now, but by this time next offseason, or July 1st, 2018, they could be on top of the world. On top of the NBA world. They could be considered better than the Lakers. Where's this coming? You're probably listening to this, you're asking yourself, where is this all coming from? Well, I looked this up a few days before the show. Here's a few 2018 free agents. LeBron obviously has to be the biggest free agent next offseason. Gets a little bit more of that later on as well. Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade, Isaiah Thomas is a free agent next offseason. Andrew Wiggins, not that big a name, but a pretty big name. Joel Embiid, trust the process. Another big free agent. Just imagine any of these all-stars sign with Paul George and the Lakers next season. Just think about that. Close your eyes. Think about it. Paul George. Here is my list of the all-stars that can join the Lakers next offseason. Here's 3 players. LeBron, Kevin Durant, Paul George. Paul George, he's already on his way there. It's just buying a plane ticket to Los Angeles and moving on. That's all we're waiting on right at this point. LeBron, there are several signs that show he's going out west. He's not staying with Cleveland. Everyone thought, he's back in Cleveland. He's going to finish his career. No. The only thing he wanted to do in Cleveland is win a title. And I guess you could say technically 2 years ago now, 2 seasons ago, he did that. In a most interesting fashion, of course. Overcoming a 3-1 lead, beat the 7-3-9 Warriors. What else does he have to do in Cleveland? Nothing. He has nothing else to do. Rumors have been that he wants to play out west. Lakers obviously out west. I saw a headline. LeBron's wife wants to live in Los Angeles. Wow, look at that. Does it mean this is coincidence or what? What do you call this? It's all coming together for LeBron at this point. And before the breaking news that I heard today, before the show actually, by the way, breaking news, Deangelo Russell has been traded from the Lakers to the Nets. Him and Teddy Moskoff for Brook Lopez and I remember what draft pick it was. I think the 27th or something like that around there. Not too clear in those details. And of course, who else to report but the Waj Bomb? Adrian Wojnarowski of Yahoo Sports, The Vertical. And before the show, I wrote in my notes, just imagine the Lakers tank. They all right, you know what? Paul George is coming here, Nick, in 2018. Let's just get through 2017-18. Get rid of Nick Young. Get rid of Deangelo Russell, which they already did. So now next up is Nick Young. Then they'll have millions upon millions in cap space next year. And then again, you put two and two together, you fish. Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Chris Paul, Paul George, Andrew Wiggins, Joel Embiid, D Wade, Isaiah Thomas. All these all-stars are free agents next offseason. All these free agents, I'm not saying all these free agents are going to land in Los Angeles. I expect Joel Embiid to be back in Philadelphia. I expect Isaiah Thomas to stay in Boston. But Paul George, Kevin Durant, LeBron James. And the reason I say Kevin Durant is because Kevin Durant's a cupcake. I still believe it. I have to give him credit for this finals. He played better than anybody did over those 5 games. I have to give it to him. I don't like the guy. Not personally. I don't know him. I don't like what he did, though. As many people don't. Many people don't like what he did. I'm one of them. But I cannot hate on him for his performance in the finals. He deserved finals MVP. He's got his ring. I'm surprised he re-signed with the Warriors. But then there's always the chance he doesn't do it next year. Because next year the cap will go up. And Kevin Durant might be on his way out. For all we know. So it's possible that Kevin Durant probably takes his talents to Los Angeles. Just a thought. Kevin Durant seems to want to do that type of thing. And a lot of people are not agree with this. If the Lakers do what they do, and if they do that, they get Paul George, they get LeBron James, they get a third player, and they're going to draft Lonzo Ball. That's a super team. I'm not saying Lonzo Ball is a super player. I've yet to see him play. Not even at UCLA. Didn't mean to rhyme there, but I did. Super team. Why is this a super team? Look at the players they got. They would have. LeBron, Kevin Durant, Paul George, Lonzo Ball, and their head coach is Luke Walton, who went 24-0 as a head coach, technically, with the super team. It all adds up. It all adds up. And that's why I think 2018-2019, just like that, snap of a finger, the Lakers can compete with the Warriors for the West. Yeah. I'm putting it out there. By 2018-2019, the Lakers can compete with the Warriors for the West. The Spurs, a lot of old guys. Not so much faith in them. And who knows when Tony Parker's going to retire? Manu Ginobili. Who knows when they're going to go? So there's questions there. questions there with San Antonio. That's why I wouldn't say that they're still top competitors for the West up there with the Warriors. Excuse me. Then let's say all this goes down. You have the Warriors, you have the Lakers. They're both two super teams in the West. Then the question comes: which super team's better? If you ask me, and you look at these teams, I would say if it happens, I would have to give it to the Lakers. It's not just because of LeBron James. It's because they have all this, they have better stars than the Warriors do. Steph Curry, he shoots threes. That's awesome. Draymond Green plays well. That's awesome and all, but he's a little diva. He has a little diva behind him. Iguodala, I don't know how he won MVP to the 2015 finals. There's a lot of questions with those kind of players. And then there's Kevin Durant. He's Kevin Durant. So if it was to come to that, if there was two super teams in the West, I would say the Lakers would be the better super team. And a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy for saying that, but I stick to what I say on this show. And that's that. So there's a lot going on. The NBA offseason just started. It just started. And we're already talking about next year, 2018-2019 season, and the Lakers competing with the Warriors for the West. Time's moving by fast, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we got to stay on top of everything. Absolutely just flawless. Then there's other questions. You dig deeper into this. LeBron leaves for Los Angeles. Then what? What happens to Cleveland? Well, I just saw something that said if LeBron should leave Cleveland after next season, Kyrie wants out. Kevin Love's probably already on his way out. So next year you have LeBron James, you have Kyrie Irving competing for the title against Golden State. If Kyrie Irving leaves after LeBron leaves and there's no Kevin Love, what's up with the Warriors? What's up with the Glad? I'm sorry, I'm slurring my words because of everything I'm doing right now. What happens to the Cavs? They're biting the bottom of the barrel again. They're a team that could lose 27 consecutive games again. Maybe worse because there's no Kyrie Irving this time, like there was back in 2009 or 2010, whatever it might have been. No LeBron, no Kyrie, no Love in Cleveland. They're all gone by next offseason. It could be fast as blink of an eye. And the Cavs could be worse than they were without him from 2010 to 2014. That's as insane as that sounds, it's possible. So let's say that happens. Let's say the Cavs wind up being back at the bottom like they were from 2010 to 2014. There's two new teams that I see in the Eastern Conference that'll just overpower everybody. And your jaw's gonna drop when you hear this. But the two teams that can top the East in 2 years' time. The Philadelphia 76ers and the Miami Heat. Yeah, the Philadelphia 76ers and Miami Heat could run the East in just 2 years. It's probably the most ludicrous thing you'll hear for a while, but it's so real. It so can happen. It is so possible. The Sixers have a lot of stars on the team. They just haven't played yet. Joel Embiid, always injured. Ben Simmons hasn't seen the court, but when he does, he's going to be stud. He's going to be amazing once he finally hits the court. Finally actually sees some NBA action. I mean, they're a couple health issues away from being a super team. Yeah, we're talking about super teams here on the SCU show. A lot of super teams. Super team this, super team that, super team everywhere. And then you look what the Heat just did. That was without big three. No, there's no more D-Wade. There's no more Chris Bosh. There's no more LeBron. And the Heat were the hottest team in the league last year. In the second half. After their slow start. So now do you think of what the Heat just did to end their season, finishing half a game out of playoff race? The future is bright for the Heat, very bright. They'll be in the playoffs next year. They're going to lose to LeBron and the Cavs probably somewhere in the semis or first round. But once LeBron, Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving are not included anymore, Philadelphia and Miami are taking over the Eastern Conference. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So I want to thank you again for listening to this podcast, the SCU Show. I'm your host, SCU. The 11th episode of this show. It's been a pretty good run. Lots of hits, lots of misses. By the way, my prediction about the Yankees, I should have never said anything last week because now my big ego has them at a 6-game losing streak. Not good. Not good at all. So next year, and I hate to say it, I know it sucks, but next year we're in for Cavs Warriors 4. I mean, it's happening. The Warriors are the only super team right now. And the only team that can compete with them is LeBron James. LeBron James is the team. There's no Cavs. It's LeBron James against the super team Warriors. It would be awesome for LeBron to win that fourth title. 2 and 4 years. It would be great. Well, we'll see what happens. But next year, Cavs Warriors 4. And then following that, the best offseason in the NBA we'll see in a very, very long time. Coming up next, though, I got JT Barrett. Not the Ohio State quarterback. I have JT Barrett from SB Nation Radio, host of the Takeover on SB Nation Radio. I have to ask him when the times are. I know it's 1 to 4 a.m., but I don't know what days, though. But we will get to JT Barrett, not the Ohio State quarterback, next on the SCU show.
Hello to all you Arena League football fans out there. I want to personally welcome you to join us, AFL Fan Zone, every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for a weekly recap of all things AFL. You got stuff to do on the weekends, which means you probably don't have time to sit down and watch every single game every week. That's where AFL Fan Zone comes in. Not only do we break down the week, but we provide you with everything you need to stay up to date with the AFL, including Players of the Week, Power Rankings, and the weekly standings. Best part is, the recap is fully interactive between the viewers and the host. Just search AFL Fan Zone on YouTube and you can find all of our archived videos, including game previews, recaps, and weekly updates. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and at our website at www.aflfanzone.com. AFL Fan Zone, your internet home for the best AFL fans.
Hi, I'm Donovan James, and welcome to the Don James High School Football Report, everybody, where we discuss and debate the hottest prep and college football recruiting topics in the country every week. Only here on NGSC Sports, 9:30 Eastern. For more, follow me on Twitter at Don James Sports.
It's game time, boys, and we know football. Football the Max is the podcast for you if you want in-depth analysis over the NFL and college football. We preview all the action coming your way over the weekend. And we break down all the big action after it's happened. Plus, we tackle all the big news topics and discuss everything when it comes to the gridiron. So come check out Football to the Max every Tuesday morning and Friday morning on the W2M network.
Are you an arena football fan looking for the latest news involving your team? Inside the Arena has you covered. Check us out for the latest news around both the Arena Football League and the Chinese Arena Football League. Read all of our stellar articles at InsideTheArena.org. Also, follow us on Twitter at Inside_Arena and like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/InsideTheArena.
All right, welcome back to the SCU show. I'm your host, SCU. And now we bring on JT Barrett, not the Ohio State quarterback, host of the Takeover on SB Nation Radio. How are you doing today, sir?
What's the deal? How's it going?
It is going. So I was talking about a little bit about the Lakers and Paul George and all this other stuff going on. And I saw a tweet that you said you were not interested in this move. Now, I said at the Lakers, they needed to get a break before the news broke that they had traded Deangelo Russell to Brooklyn. I said they needed to get rid of Russell, needed to get rid of Nick Young, because both of them, they're just not that great players. They're more divas than they're great players. But I wanted to ask, why don't you like this move, moving Deangelo Russell over to Brooklyn?
Well, see, I thought that Deangelo Russell probably should have been moved over to Indiana in the Paul George deal. I think he's a more lucrative piece than a number 27 and number 28 pick, unless that's what Indiana wants, right? We know that the Lakers don't want to give up the number 2 pick. We know they don't want to give up Brandon Ingram. So what is it that they want to give up, or what is it that they could give up, or what's enticing for Indiana to take? I thought Deangelo Russell would have probably been that. It looked like maybe it was not so much. Then they gave up him, and they give up Mozgov, and they send him to Brooklyn for Brook Lopez. Yeah, they get another pick. They take on the expiring contract, but I really thought that deal probably should have been left for getting Paul George, and then you probably could have made another deal such as this one, moving somebody else over to Brooklyn. I'm pretty sure Brooklyn would have took anybody. All 29 teams have probably 7 players better than anybody that starts for Brooklyn.
That's probably true. So the latest rumor for Paul George is that he's interested in playing with the Lakers in 2018, 2019. Would you personally like to see him go to Los Angeles?
I want to see him go wherever he want to go play at, right? I'm not really big in the business of telling players they should play here or they should stay here, things of that nature. They're grown. They can go do whatever they want to do. If he feels like he wants to go and play for the Lakers, then, hey, go play for the Lakers. I think since he has made that, though, I think now the Lakers do need to go and trade for him now instead of having to wait until free agency until 2018. Why wait? If you know he wants to be there, why wait? Make your team better now. There's no need to wait.
That is a good point. That is a very good point. JT Barrett, host of the Takeover on SB Nation Radio, joining us here on the SCU show. I believe in 2018, 2019, that is the year the Lakers go out and they make it happen because they got all these all-stars. You got LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Isaiah Thomas, Joel Embiid, all these players. They're going to be free agents. And I believe this is the year they pick at least 3 of those all-stars and they go ahead and sign them with the money that they'll have. I think next year, if they get rid of Nick Young, I believe they will have a lot of cap if they get rid of Nick Young. They can go ahead and sign LeBron, maybe Kevin Durant if he decides to leave for the Warriors. Lots of things pointing at LeBron going west, especially like his wife wants to go to Los Angeles and all this. Do you believe at any point over the next 5 years, we're going to go 5 years here, that the Lakers could and I said this earlier, I said by probably maybe next year or 2 years from now, if the Lakers do get all these free agents, they could compete with Gold State in the West. Do you think in the next 5 years that could happen?
Now, I know Kevin Durant's not going anywhere, right? He's going to sign a long-term deal with the Golden State Warriors, so I doubt he's going to be a free agent. But, yeah, I mean, I think they can. If they're able to get LeBron and they have Paul George, throwing a guy like Lonzo Ball, obviously over the next 2 years, he's going to have to develop. There's been a lot of talks with him and about his defense specifically. In order to stop the Golden State Warriors, you're going to have to play some defense. So, obviously, if they're going to draft him on Thursday, they're going to have Paul George, they're going to have LeBron James. You obviously need to find somebody who's going to play at the 4 and 5 spot. We know LeBron don't like to play the power forward. Neither does Paul George. So you need to find guys that play down there. Maybe that's what they're trying to do now, clearing cap space by trading Mozgov, things of that nature. Yeah, they can go compete with the Golden State Warriors, but the thing is, will they have enough offense? The problem with teams right now is, one, they don't have enough offense to compete, nor do they have enough defense. I think people just think that the Golden State Warriors is a jump shooting team. That's not true. Do they shoot jump shots? Yeah, of course, every team shoots jump shots. They might take a little bit more than other teams. They actually might make more than other teams as well. But they can score mid-range. They can score at the hoop. They can shoot free throws. They do all of those things. They're not just a three-point shooting team. But the most underrated thing about the Warriors is their defense. Their defense has improved ever since Mark Jackson was the coach, and going over to Steve Kerr, and then you also bring in a defensive specialist like Ron Adams, who is the assistant coach there. They play probably the best defense that we've seen here in the last, I don't know, maybe 10 years, besides maybe the 08 Boston Celtics. So you're going to have not only offense but defense in order to stop the Golden State Warriors. I don't think anybody's going to be able to come close to what they're doing.
Interesting take there. So I'll stick with the Lakers here. It's pretty much a done deal. Thursday, they're going to draft Lonzo Ball, number 2 overall. How do you feel he will fare with the Lakers? Do you feel like he'll be a next, Magic Johnson, or do you feel like he'll be another Deangelo Russell, a top 3 pick that does nothing for them?
Well, he won't be Deangelo Russell. He just doesn't shoot like that. He is more of a Magic type. Whenever you speak about him, just because of his natural passing ability, he's the best passer in this draft. There's no doubt about that. He is the best passer in this draft. You probably can't pass that type of talent up. Who do I think about? I think he's a pretty good player. I mean, a lot of these guys, they come we haven't seen, a lot of people have been talking about this draft class probably before this, since about 2014, 2015, so probably about 2 years now, where they've been talking about this specific draft class. And, it's going to be an amazing draft class. I think just because they're going to be a lot of really good players in it, right? But we don't have nobody has a guy who is a generational player. Right? There's no generational player here in this draft. So I think Lonzo will be good. He has to improve his defense, but they will take him at number 2. That's the only pick that they can have.
Right, I agree there. JT Barrett, the host of the Takeover on SB Nation Radio, joining us. Let's switch now. I asked you about how you feel about the trade for Russell to Brooklyn. How do you feel he will affect that team? They finished with the worst record in the league last year. If I'm not mistaken, how do you feel he'll do? How do you feel he will affect them next year?
Oh no, he'll be okay. He's not going to add a bunch of wins to the team, right?
I didn't think so either.
Shit. Yeah, that roster is in shambles, right? I mean, they signed Jeremy Lin to their big time last year was Jeremy Lin, right? They got Deangelo Russell now. They still got Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, who can't shoot. They got a bunch of other guys on that roster who's just not making that big of an impact, right? They're probably going to be bad once again next year. They'll probably start to be good in maybe 2019. They don't have their pick for next year either. That's the most disappointing thing. They don't have their pick for next year either. It goes right back to the Boston Celtics, right? I know. They have no protection on their pick at all. I mean, how dumb can you be? But, I mean, this is an upside for them, right? They get a young, upcoming guy in Deangelo Russell who will be with them we know for sure for the next 2 years. He's going to be a restricted free agent right after that. Somebody's going to try to sign him. I'm pretty sure they're going to match. And then he's going to be back with them. So you got a young upcoming guy who's going to be there for the next 7 or 8 years. And obviously, right now the NBA is a point guard driven league. So you need your point guard. You got that now. Now you need to go find somebody who can shoot the ball as well, because they don't have anybody on their roster, probably besides Deangelo Russell, who can really score.
Yeah, I'm not big of an NBA guy. I've only been following it for about 2 years. But as far as I'm concerned with the Nets, and I do follow a lot of people on Twitter that have writ for the Nets or do right for the Nets. Brook Lopez, if I'm not mistaken, was their best player last season and on that terrible team. So getting rid of him, I feel that was, I don't know what they were thinking.
Well, what they were doing was they're trying to transition into a new era, right? He does not have a contract after this season, right? So he has an expiring contract. That's something that the Lakers want to look forward to because they're going to need the money next year to sign Paul George and or LeBron James, right? Yeah. So, but what they want to do is they want to transition. So they want to be able to get young, upcoming guys, or they want to get picks right now for expiring contracts. The thing with the NBA is there are going to be plenty of teams out there who wants expiring contracts so that they can get people off of their books, bad signers off of their books, right? Like you're going to see a team like the Detroit Pistons try to do something like that as well, where you see like maybe Andre Drummond or Reggie Jackson get traded with somebody else or with a pick just so that they can get them off of the Detroit Pistons book right now. So what they're doing right now is actually smart. They're clearing up cap space. And they have young talent right now. It's just not enough talent right now to win enough games.
Right. That's definitely true. Definitely not a lot of talent to win the games. Now I want to stick with the New York basketball teams because the Knicks are looking to trade Kristaps Porzingis. That is their best. If you ask me, Kristaps Porzingis is the Knicks. So what do you think? What is Phil Jackson thinking with this move?
Well, reports just came out not too long ago that they were not actually trying to trade him. They were fielding calls for him, but the asking price was extremely too high. So they weren't really out there just shopping him, right? But people was calling and saying, "Hey, what would you give us? What would you give us Kristaps for?" And I think that's why a lot of people were doing that because of. But I don't think they were really shopping Kristaps Porzingis. I know Phil Jackson he hasn't been great at his job, but I don't think he's that idiotic. I mean, look, if he was that idiotic, it would just be time to get him up out the paint, right? But I'm glad to know that they were not shopping him. He's probably going to be a Knick for the next 6 or 7 years.
Wow. That would be great to see because the Knicks need all the help they can get. You think the Nets are bad, the Knicks look even worse. Okay, JT Barrett, host of the Takeover. I know, and you know my former colleague Andrew Powell. That's how I got to know you pretty much. I've noticed you. I know your show's 1 to 4 a.m., but what days are those shows on?
It's Sunday night going into Monday, so technically you can call it like Monday morning. Actually, just be on the lookout. If you follow me on Twitter at JTBarrettSBN, we actually have a YouTube channel about to probably come up here in the next week or so. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff on the YouTube channel. That's exactly where you want to go see me now. You know, everything is kind of going towards the digital side of things. You're going to want to see me there. Me and my co-host Cam Thomas, along with SB Nation Radio, we're about to do some amazing things here on YouTube. So make sure that you follow me, JT Barrett SBN, on Twitter so you can get those YouTube updates.
All right, one more question. I know you guys used to be part of ESPN Houston in some way. Are you still part of that?
Yes, yeah, we are. We still do work with ESPN Houston as well. So we got a partnership with ESPN Houston, and we got a partnership with SB Nation Radio.
That is awesome. JT Barrett, host of the Takeover on ESPN Houston Radio and SB Nation Radio, Sunday to Monday, into Monday, 1 to 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks so much for coming on the show. We'll talk to you again soon, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Got a little lesson there from JT Barrett, the non-Ohio State quarterback. I didn't know much about the Knicks. I don't know much about basketball, but that was a pretty interesting interview. I enjoyed that, and I'm very interested to seeing what the Lakers will do next season. Not this one coming up, the one after. Next season, we're going to see Cavs Warriors 4. People aren't going to like it, but hang tight. You're in front of the roller coaster. You're in the front seat of the roller coaster. You're going up. You get to the top. When you get to the top, you're at the 2018 offseason. Because it's about to go down. Be right back as usual.
Hello to all you Arena League football fans out there. I want to personally welcome you to join us, AFL Fan Zone, every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for a weekly recap of all things AFL. You got stuff to do on the weekends, which means you probably don't have time to sit down and watch every single game every week. That's where AFL Fan Zone comes in. Not only do we break down the week, but we provide you with everything you need to stay up to date with the AFL, including Players of the Week, Power Rankings, and the weekly standings. Best part is, the recap is fully interactive between the viewers and the host. Just search AFL Fan Zone on YouTube and you can find all of our archived videos, including game previews, recaps, and weekly updates. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and at our website at www.aflfanzone.com. AFL Fan Zone, your internet home for the best AFL fans.
Hi, I'm Donovan James, and welcome to the Don James High School Football Report, everybody, where we discuss and debate the hottest prep and college football recruiting topics in the country every week. Only here on NGSC Sports, 9:30 Eastern. For more, follow me on Twitter at Don James Sports.
It's game time, boys, and we know football. Football the Max is the podcast for you if you want in-depth analysis over the NFL and college football. We preview all the action coming your way over the weekend. And we break down all the big action after it's happened. Plus, we tackle all the big news topics and discuss everything when it comes to the gridiron. So come check out Football to the Max every Tuesday morning and Friday morning on the W2M network.
Are you an arena football fan looking for the latest news involving your team? Inside the Arena has you covered. Check us out for the latest news around both the Arena Football League and the Chinese Arena Football League. Read all of our stellar articles at InsideTheArena.org. Also, follow us on Twitter at Inside_Arena and like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/InsideTheArena.
Welcome back. That was a great interview with JT Barrett, the non-Ohio State quarterback. And I'll keep saying that throughout the show, as much as I mention his name, because everyone's going to listen to the show and be like, oh my God, he's got the Ohio State quarterback on the show? No, that would be something, wouldn't it, though? That would be something. But that would be another review for around, the beginning of August, when the college football season's just around the corner. But, getting people like that, it's not easy to get them. Get those kind of people on your show, especially with a show like this, it's not easy. Got to get those small guys. Getting JT was a pretty good accomplishment for me. But anyway, so that's all the NBA talk I got for you. That was interesting talk. I didn't plan on talking about the Knicks with JT, but I just had to throw that in there because the report. It just had to go in there. Just had to go in there. But now we've switched over. Now we're going to the NFL because I love the NFL. Love it. It's not much breaking news. It's news. It's not breaking. Eric Decker's a Titan. Eric Decker has signed a one-year deal with the Titans. And that means a lot. That means there is no longer an excuse for the Titans. There's not. There's no excuse for Tennessee not to win the division. None at all. Marcus Mariota has the best wide receiving core in the AFC South. He has the two best running backs by far in the AFC South. DeMarco Murray, very impressive running back. Didn't do too well with the Eagles, but who does well with the Eagles anymore? Nobody. There hasn't been a good player with the Eagles since Michael Vick back in 2010. It's been a while since the Eagles have seen success with a player. Last year with Tennessee, he did great, and then you had Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry also did well. Even as a rookie who didn't see as much carries because he was behind DeMarco Murray, he did very well as well. And he'll definitely get more carries this season. Him and Murray are going to be sharing the load. Plus, you have Mario come back from his broken leg. It's all falling into place for Tennessee right now. It's all falling into place for the Titans, and if they can't give this up. They can't. They have Eric Decker. They have Delaney Walker. They have They have the running backs. They have a great team. And now I'm going to make the case for other teams not winning the division. Houston. Oh, Deshaun Watson's going to be the quarterback. Okay. Deshaun Watson's your quarterback. Awesome. Deshaun Watson has one guy. It's going to be Deshaun Watson. It's going to be DeAndre Hopkins. That's it. There will be nobody else. Now, if the division was won on defense, Houston will win the division. But it's not. The offenses will win this division. And since the Titans have the best offense in the division, it's theirs. They can't not win it. And as I was saying, it's going to be Deshaun Watson, it's going to be DeAndre Hopkins. That's it for that Houston offense. There's really nobody else. There's nobody. I mean, and you can't depend on two people running everything. Putting all the workload on two people could lead to Houston's destruction. I know how that feels because I'm dealing with that right now with my website. Two guys running everything, it can be a little much. So Houston, they have a good defense. They have J.J. Watt. They have Jadeveon Clowney. They have great secondary, but if their offense can't get it going, and the offense is depending on two people, they're not going to have a good shot at winning this division. Then there's Jacksonville. Do I even have to say it? How many times do I have to say it on the show? The Jaguars are the Jaguars. They spend millions and millions of dollars every offseason getting the big guys. I remember last offseason, everyone was so, even I was hyped on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm no longer hyped on the Jacksonville Jaguars, no matter what they do. Because every year, they continue to mess it up. Every year. Last year, spent big money. What did they get, 5-11? And that seems to be the pattern in Jacksonville. They keep spending all this money just to finish 5-11. Every year. Every year they spend all this money to spend 5-11. I'm not a buyer in the Jaguars anymore. And 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, I said this about Indianapolis. That 2017 team is not going to do anything. They are just not good enough to compete. They'll finish third in the division because Jacksonville always finishes last. It's as simple as that. Andrew Luck has nothing around him to help him out on offense. So it's a done deal for the Colts. It's going to be Tennessee, it's going to be Houston. But it's not going to be as close as everyone thinks. It's just how it is. The Titans are going to win the division by at least 3 games. At least. Another bold prediction from your host SCU here on the SCU show. You get a lot of those with me. So now I've covered that the Titans are going to win the South. Now I'm going to look at their schedule and we'll say, okay, they're going to finish with this record. I do have them in the playoffs this year. They just missed out because Marcus Mariota broke his leg last year. That's the only reason they missed out last year. So for week 1, Oakland. That's a tough one. I'll give that one to the Raiders just because Mark Cooper and Michael Crabtree and Derek Carr, they make it work very well. I don't think the Titans defense will be able to stand up against that. Week 2, they're in Jacksonville. That's a win. They're playing the Jaguars. You can't not beat the Jaguars. Week 3, they host the Seahawks. I give the one to Seattle again. That team is very talented. They've shown out the past 5 years. And they play Houston. I give them that win. They have a better offense than Houston. Then they're in Miami. The Dolphins are going to do good this year. They're not going to do as better. They're not going to do as good as the Titans, though. I give the Titans the win on that one. They'll beat the Colts. They'll obviously beat the Browns. I have them beating the Ravens and the Bengals. They'll lose to the Steelers. The Steelers are the second best team in the AFC, behind New England. Beat the Colts. Beat the Texans again. They'll win in Arizona. Win in San Francisco. Beat the Los Angeles Rams. And then beat the Titans. Beat the Jaguars to finish the season. So if we look over the schedule again, yeah, the Titans will win 13 games in 2017. If I'm looking at this right, and if things go the way I see it. The Titans will win 13 games in 2017. They'll finish 13-3. That still won't be good enough for a top seed in the AFC. Because the Steelers and Patriots will have much better teams. I believe the Steelers will get the 2 seed. The 2 seed with a 14-2 record. That's how good the AFC is going to be this year. Of course, the NFC will probably be better because they have a lot more competitive teams. But both conferences are going to be very competitive this year. So competitive, I see the Titans as a 3 seed with a 13-3 record. JT Barrett, host of the Takeover, SB Nation Radio, ESPN Houston, Sunday into Monday, 1 to 4 a.m. Joined us today to talk a little NBA. That was fun. That was exciting. The Lakers look like a super team. Not this time next year. A little bit more than this time next year. About 2 weeks. A year and 2 weeks this time next year. The Lakers will be building for that super team to compete with the Warriors in the West. And with that, we end tonight's show early. It's going to be an early night. I got to be up at 5 a.m. So, thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I know I enjoyed this episode of the SCU show. I'm your host, SCU. Thank you, Sean Garner, for producing this podcast and all our podcasts on WTNF.com. Thank you, JT Barrett, for joining us here on the SCU show. And until next week, we are out, SCU show.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.